status. Let's get started. To admin, ILM CRM settings, sales and service processes, and custom status. Let's get started. The sales processes handle all of the follow-up with the dealership customer base. These sales processes are by far the most customizable feature of VinSolutions software service and can sometimes be the most confusing. You'll want to make sure that all of your changes and modifications are well planned and executed before making them live to your customers. You can access the sales processes by going under Settings, ILM CRM Settings, Sales Processes. Let's start with the process tools. The process settings are settings that allow for process termination within the internet process, phone call follow-up process, and showroom follow-up process. You can select the parameters for terminating a process, and you have 4 choices to select from. 1, contact the customer via email reply or phone call contact. 2, when an appointment is set. 3, when an appointment shows. And 4, when the customer is sold or marked as lost or bad. Typically, most dealers will set up all processes to terminate when an appointment is set. This allows the current process to stop and allows the appointment process to take over. Once the customer either comes in and has a visit started or is marked as a missed appointment, another process will take over. This allows a more seamless transition through processes based on user interaction within the tool and will help to ensure that the tasks, emails, calls, etc. make sense not only for your staff, but most importantly for your customers. Below the process settings, you can enable the after-hours process. This will trigger a different after-hours internet process based on your dealer hours. So all leads coming in after hours will receive a different process until the following morning when you open and the normal internet process fires. Sales rep can change processes is a setting that will allow you to give control to your salespeople to change a customer's process. Many dealers do not allow this, and if they do, they typically set this up by using custom statuses within Connect, which we'll discuss here in a moment. The process analysis is a very valuable tool that will review all of your processes to determine if there are errors, such as a missing template, or if a user group no longer exists, or if the process no longer works. You can select Process Analysis and find problems and solutions. When you select each process, it will expand and reveal all of the rules and processes within that category. Add Custom Rule appears above existing rules. When creating a custom rule, the filters can be set based on vehicle, lead source, or user groups and users. But please be advised, the rule must be enabled before it is effective and starts being used. For best results, wait until all of the tasks are built within that rule before enabling it. Now please note, they are processed in order, and the first rule that applies is used, and no further rules are processed. If none of the rules are applicable, the standard process will be used. You want to make sure that if you have a rule for all pre-owned and one for a specific lead source or a similar scenario, make sure that the rule for a specific lead source is moved to a higher priority so that it processes first. Custom rules should be listed from more specific to less specific. Using custom rules throughout all levels of the processes will truly allow you to tailor your processes to specific customer questions, needs, concerns, and much more. Adding an event means to make or create a new task. These can fire automatically or be manually completed by a user. To add an event to the sales process, first determine where in the buying experience the event should take place. Then select the Add Event button. Choose from the drop-down list what activity is to be fired. Determine from whom the task is coming, or if it is a manual task, such as making a phone call, who should be the one to make the call. If applicable, templates are available and can be attached to a particular task. Then, you can choose a time frame for when the task is to be completed. Tasks can be delayed if necessary. Lastly, select the vehicle type affected by the task and type a description for the user to understand what the task is, then select Save. Now please note, some events can be set up with additional functionality, such as when an automated email is going to fire, you can choose to suppress the event if there are any missing fields. Or, when triggering a letter to be sent, you can choose to suppress the event if the customer has an email address. In this case, you'll want to set up 2 events, both a letter and an email event. You can also suppress events if attempted contact has been made in a certain time frame. This will allow the processes to stop a certain event if someone at the store has already attempted to contact the customer within the set time frame. This helps to ensure that your staff does not get overtasked by your processes. You'll repeat these steps until all tasks are in place. Then enable the rule to fire, and it will be live to all customers that are affected by the filters set within the new rule. Under the process list, first you'll find Active Lead Custom Follow-up. This follow-up is designed for the dealer to make customized processes for customers within different buying cycles. For example, 30 days out, 60 days out, etc. The dealer can create as many of these processes and corresponding events and tasks as they would like. The sales staff can then change a customer from a standard process over to one of these customized processes if they want to, from the customer dashboard. Now please note, custom processes should really only be used when you cannot customize a standard process below to handle a particular customer. There are no termination settings for custom processes, so these will trigger until a customer is marked sold, lost, or bad. In addition, you will also have the ability to create custom status to allow the user to get a quick view of what status this customer is in. This feature allows you to customize the status description of a customer, regardless if you have them marked as active, sold, lost, or bad. Simply go into the ILM CRM Settings tab and choose Custom Lead Status. Enter the description that you would like to use, and make the selection from the drop-down under Status Type. This is in order to designate which type the new description is going to be associated with. Select your process to ensure the customer stays within an appropriate process. When completed, you can simply select Insert. You'll also choose if you want managers only to be able to choose the custom status, or if salespeople can change the custom status as well. Once you've determined the status descriptions that you'd like to use, now you can simply make this selection from the customer dashboard. So not only can you set up specific custom follow-up processes, but you can also design a custom status as well, and now only allow salespeople to change a specific status that you ensure is attached to a custom process that you will allow them to use. Next, we have New Internet Lead After Hours. This process applies to the internet leads that come in after hours. This follow-up fires during the hours that the dealership is closed, and then switches to the new internet lead process once the dealership reopens, which is based upon your dealer hours. Now keep in mind, you will need to enable this within the Process Tools section. For new internet sales lead, this process fires for any new lead that is electronically submitted to the system. The standard rule will fire for all new incoming internet leads if a custom rule is not enabled or being utilized. There are many reasons to set up custom rules for internet leads, and these typically will be based on lead source or specific makes and models. For example, you can customize a very specific internet process for customers that are submitting credit applications, trade appraisal, or other specific lead sources, since these would typically need a different type of conversation. You can also set up to have very specific new car internet processes, which can include any OEM mandated email templates, communication points, etc. For the new internet service lead and new internet parts lead, these processes are set up for internet submitted service and parts leads. You can create tasks for your service and parts employees just like you would for your sales employees. Under Sales Appointment Reminder, this process will fire before the date and time of a customer's appointment. When a customer has an appointment set, then the follow-up changes to Sales Appointment Reminder Follow-up from whatever process was currently activated. For Sales Appointment Rescheduled, this process fires for the customers whose appointments have been moved. When an appointment is set and then the date and time is changed, it triggers the Sales Appointment Rescheduled follow-up. Under Sales Appointment Missed, this process will fire for the customers who have missed their scheduled appointment once the appointment has been marked missed. For Showroom Visit Follow-up, this is for anyone who has come onto the showroom floor but did not purchase a vehicle. This is a great place to create a custom rule based upon visit type to ensure that you have a different conversation when the customer comes back in a second time as a be-back. It's also a great place to build additional custom rules based on the different reasons for closing a visit as unsold. This way, you can have very specific conversations with a customer when they leave your dealership based upon trade, finance, and more. For phone lead follow-up, this process applies to all customers entered into the VIN Solutions system manually and logged as a phone up. Sales lead email response received. This process fires after a customer sends an email into the dealership. Under Sales lead marked lost, This fires anytime a lead status of a customer is changed to lost. By changing the status of a customer in the lead info section area of the customer dashboard, this triggers the sales process to change to sales lead marked lost. Again, this is another great process to create a custom rule based upon why the customer was marked lost. This is also a great opportunity to solicit your bought car from different dealer customers to come in for service, reconnect with customers with bad credit for service and sales, and more. For sales lead marked bad, this process begins to fire when a lead status is changed to bad. By changing the status of a customer from anything to bad, it will trigger the sales process to change the sales lead marked bad process. It's important to ensure that you have a custom rule and process set up for bad leads that are marked as duplicate to ensure that any duplicate internet leads are seen by your staff. Sales lead marked sold pending. This is for customers whose status is sold pending. When a customer is marked sold in the system, the customer stays at this status only until they are moved into sold delivered status. Sold pending process can help to remind your staff when a customer still has pending deals based on STIPs or on order vehicles. For your sold delivered follow-up, this process fires for any customer whose status is sold delivered. After the status is changed, the sold delivered follow-up process will begin to fire. Once again, custom rules can be created based on the type of sale: finance, lease, or balloon. These will be triggered based on the close date or even based on new or used vehicles. Once again, allowing you to remind your customer that is purchased about specific OEM service windows, surveys, and more. Under sold end-of-term follow-up, this fires based on the customer's lease, loan, or balloon termination date. The dealer can set up a process to contact a customer before the end of their lease, loan, or balloon term in an effort to recapture their business. For service closed repair order, this is a process for customers with closed repair orders logged in the system. This process will fire for any customers who have had repairs done in the service department once the repair order has been closed in the office. This is another great process in which to create custom rules. Custom rules for closed repair orders can be created based on year, make, model of vehicle, vehicle mileage, the amount of the repair order, OP codes, recommended service, or matching repair order comments. It's very important to keep in mind that there are no termination settings with service processes. So typically you will want to limit the length of time that the events will fire. But this is a great way to engage customers immediately after they've been serviced, to thank them, remind them of declined service, offer coupons, and more. For customer sales rep changed, this process fires anytime the ownership of a customer changes from one salesperson to another. Under customer birthday, if a customer's birthday is entered into the system, then the birthday follow-up will fire before the date provided. Under service appointment reminder, if your DMS is capable of sending service appointments into VEN, you can also set up alerts and processes for customers and staff at your store to remind them of a customer's service appointment. If you have any questions in regards to events, custom rules, or other functionality within processes, please contact VEN support. If you would like to discuss different ways to customize your processes and get some great ideas, please reach out to your performance manager. This concludes admin, ILM CRM settings, sales and service processes, and custom status. Thanks so much for your time.